In this section, I would like to cover a topic that is essential to the success and longevity of your rental operation: loss prevention. Many times when we think of loss prevention, we think of preventing theft, but in this particular case scenario, we are referring to reducing loss associated with lawsuits or eliminating lawsuits altogether. If a child is seriously injured in one of your units, you better believe the customer is coming after you. Now, it is an industry standard that we have all clients sign a rental agreement in which they agree to have adult supervision at all times. But please keep in mind the sole purpose of that castle at the party is to babysit the children while the parents mingle. So I need you to take the following steps to prevent you from taking any financial or public relation loss or damage associated with a child getting injured in one of your units. First, I need you to establish your company as an LLC. Second, I need you to carry general liability policy for a minimum of $1 million. Also carry $200,000 worth of content insurance to protect your inventory. I lost my entire inventory during Hurricane Katrina. And even though the homeowner's insurance was fighting me on the damages and loss to my home, the content insurance, my general liability policy, and my content insurance had to pay. So I didn't get the house together, but I was able to cash in on my content policy, and it completely restored all of my inventory. Next, have a rental agreement drawn up by a trusted attorney with a place to initial that there will be adult supervision at all times. This should also serve as a waiver in which the client or the customer is completely waiving you from any liability associated with injury at this party. Also have them initial that they will not operate the equipment in the rain. Next, deliver your own units. Never allow a customer to pick up your equipment. If you would not allow your child to go with someone that's a perfect stranger, then the same applies to your units. Think about it. Always get a copy of the identification of the person renting your equipment. This will help you if there is a damage claim. Next, do not set up a delivery on concrete or tar blacktop without a tarp and weight anchors. Try to stay away from setting your equipment up on concrete surfaces altogether, mainly because you can weigh them down with certain types of weight anchors, but events in which people are setting these units up on concrete, they have a tendency to move your unit from the place you originally placed it, and they don't always move your tarp with the unit. That concrete, every time you set up a unit on concrete, you have just taken a year off the lifespan of that unit. Next, always make park parties, your first pickup of the day. I lost a unit this way, guys. Any event that's in a park, that is your first pickup, and you let the clients know that, hey, we're going to roll on you first. We start picking up at 5, 4, whatever your pickup time is. That party is first, because what's going to happen is if you make that park party third or fourth, when they're ready to go, they're going to leave, and sometimes they'll just leave your unit out there. I've had a unit stolen by another company who rolled through and picked up my equipment. So park parties are always the first pickup. Do not accept checks. Don't accept checks. That's all I'm saying about that. Next, on all dry slide rentals, the customer must pay a deposit on a credit or debit card, agreeing that they will not put a hose of water on your dry slide. Most dry slides are not designed for water. The blower assembly is not designed for water. On water slides, the blower assemblies, that vent is placed out at a different angle and further away from the water. In most cases, we use different types of blowers for water slide parties. Delivering a dry unit and the customer is placing a hose on it, that really exposes all of those kids to the risk of being electrocuted. So you really want to put emphasis on that for the wear and tear of your unit as well as the safety of the kids. And sometimes if you basically say it like that, like if you place a hose on this unit, you run the risk of the kids getting electrocuted. That would scare them away from doing that. Make every customer understand that silly string will damage your unit and they will be responsible for replacing it. Silly string, this chemical that comes out of the can, once it hits your unit, is the equivalent of you throwing bleach on a brand new business suit. It it has that effect. Now, I I had a brand new unit that went out one time, and this woman and her kids had a silly string fight inside of the unit, and this was one of the occasions where I didn't really get her identification. As a matter of fact, this is the situation that I learned from. So I was basically on my own with the destruction of the damage of this unit. The only thing I found that would really get the silly string damage or minimize it is Goof Off. Goof Off is a little product sold at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's called Goof Off, and it's an all day process. You're really going to be out there all day scrubbing this thing with Goof Off and OxyClean Fantastic. And I will combine these two products together, and that's the only way I was able to at least get some of the stains off it where we can rent it again. Just a little tip I wanted to pass on. It is very important that you follow each and every one of these rules. Let's just call them the 10 commandments of the party rental business. I have learned from very painful experience that if you break any one of these commandments, it will cost you severely. My grandmother used to tell me all the time, a hard head makes herself behind, so consider yourself warned.